one half of the finals is set, with Snowpoint's team being dispatched by the end in what turned out to be 2 runaway games in the 3-game match. So what we need to do is establish who their opponent is going to be, and this showdown is between Luv Deez and Springy Esports. We're going to be watching Luv Deez from the point of view of Zugrug, their Snorlax, Kirk, doobsnax, Dubé on the 1s and 2s with Joe, OmniJoe, Bernard.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see how this other side of the bracket turns out. The Luv Deez team are playing an unconventional lineup. They're using Cramorant as one of their attacking slots, subbing out the Alolan Ninetales, which we have seen has been very popular in the other top 8 placing teams. So how they use this Cramorant to zone alongside the likes of the Snorlax, who we are going to be following, is going to be really crucial to this game.
Yep, that Cramorant selection is the only outlier in the top 4 teams we've seen in their team compositions. But these characters have been selected. These players are ready to go, and we are going to jump down to Game 1 action between Luv Deez and Springy Esports. Again, we're going to be watching from the point of view of Zugrug, Luv Deez's Snorlax.
Yep, Snorlax is a super important character. Obviously, needs the help of the teammates to really help, but the block effect coming in that late game, helping you score and also keeping people off objectives is a really vital role. So playing this from Zugrug, he's going to have a vital part to play.
Yep, we see Zugrug teamed up with Goof GG, the Cramorant, and they're just going to move on down the lane. And I'm really interested to see how this dynamic plays out and who they face on the bottom lane here and who's going to start contesting these mobs.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we're seeing Snorlax and Alolan Vulpix. Nothing too surprising here.
Yeah, it's exactly what we saw on the other side of the bracket. Prismatic and Justin on the side of Springy Esports pushing a little bit. Not too much confrontation there, as right now it's all about the mobs. Maybe just trying to bully each other back and forth on the lane. Justin G, the other Snorlax, you see just kind of coming in and chipping. And Cramorant and Zugrug going to move up and try and pressure this Audino and try and pluck it away before they get leveled out of control.
Yeah, not getting anything done there, but it's the right idea. You know, you got to compete with these sorts of things. And they had a little look over to see if there was anything coming up helpful. Looks like there's a lot of fighting going on top lane as well, but no one really scoring just yet. Just really getting those early farms rolling before we start seeing some objectives coming up with the bees coming in about 8 seconds.
Yeah, we see 3v3 rolling up top. Both Raboots, both junglers going up, trying to get the Cinderace and make a difference. And it's just going to be a little skirmish about the bees. We'll see if Springy Esports can challenge in the middle here. It doesn't look like they're any interested in getting any of the bees whatsoever, which is kind of a rare tactic here. Prismaticism trying to push off Zugrug from scoring any points, just chipping away, doing a little CC, keeping them and keeps them bubbled out, which is a fairly successful attempt for an Alolan Vulpix standing alone by themselves there in the turret.
Yeah, Zugrug and Goof GG, they're keeping the Alolan Vulpix unevolved. It's still level 3, so they've done really well farming here. And they're also going to hang out in the bushes here to see if they can steal any more objectives.
Yeah, you can see the overlevels there. A little bit of a skirmish here, and you can only imagine that Luv Deez is going to get better into that with both of their, with the Snorlax and the Cramorant both at level 5, and we saw level 4, level 3 on the other side of the board. So farming some mobs and just trying to limit the leveling going on the side of Springy Esports, and they're doing a pretty good job.
Cinderace has finished his farm, and he's coming down to help out by the looks of things. He's just finishing off his last core fish. So it's going to be really important to see if they can actually overwhelm here with numbers and start scoring some of these points, because they're both sat at 30, I think.
Carvenin rolling down. That's a big bottom bomb. Justin G getting chewed up, and Carvenin, Goof GG, pressure is on. Mason Blaze coming in. Prismaticism finally hits. Alolan Ninetales trying to get in the mix, but not doing too much as their Snorlax goes down. Zugrug trying to make a retreat. BBJ stepping in to try and make a difference. Alolan Ninetales bottom bombed. And finally, Zugrug goes down. Eldegoss has joined the fray, Indie Bear, and now they're just chipping away at mobs and a little bit of a bizarre dance that happened in the bottom lane.
Yeah, looks like they've heavily contested bottom lane there. Springy really bringing 4 people down, only keeping 1 up top so they can claim these bees and really get set up for Dreadnought as we're seeing Snorlax coming back into the action.
Yep, a little skirmish over the bees, and now both teams are rolling down. Zugrug, Indie Bear, Carvenin just sitting in the grass waiting for that Dreadnought to pop up. We'll see if there's a delayed tactic to see how much opposition they're going to get. It looks like they're just going to measure up. Justin G rolling down and getting into the grass themselves and popping right back out as Cramorant puts a little pressure on them with the Whirlwind. But nobody has touched Dreadnought just yet. Prismaticism trying to chip in and send the Luv Deez squad scattering as Eldegoss for Springy Esports rolls down and trying to offer a little bit of support for whichever team tries to kick off this Dreadnought first.
Yeah, Luv Deez isn't feeling confident with just 3 members. They're going to wait for the Cinderace to come down before they actually engage the Dreadnought. There's no need to really push too aggressively until you have that advantage. It looks like there's 4 for each team right now.
Yep, they've got the advantage. Mason Blaze, Prismaticism, BBJ trying to push back Luv Deez. However, BBJ doing their best impression of trying to do some damage. Zugrug goes down. The push is going pretty good, and we know that Springy Esports started Dreadnought early, and they might be able to take it here as we're waiting for Luv Deez to push back through, see if they can poach it, and they do.
Steal. Huge steal there. They were at a numbers disadvantage, less Pokemon in the field, but they, got in there just at the last second. And it's only the last hit that matters, and they're able to pick up a ton of experience here and really push forward. And there's a lot less competition for the bot lane now, so people are going to disperse and go back to farming because there's more objectives to hit. The Rotom's not as big of a priority as Dreadnought.
Yeah, an easy working of the bees in the middle by Zugrug. Justin G trying to challenge a little bit, doing a little heavy slam, maybe poaching a couple of the cone bees there to get some experience themselves. As we know, they've had trouble leveling, and getting the Dreadnought poach certainly isn't going to help. Prismaticism and Justin G making a little push at the bottom there, trying to control the Snorlax as we have a big block and a counter block. It's like 2 offensive linemen squaring away for no real value at the turret. Let's go.
A small score point there for the Snorlax, but yeah, both blocks up now. It's going to be one of these factors that you have to always bear in mind at this point onwards. And the Snorlax lining up that big heavy slam, trying to take out the OmniJoe, but it looks like it's stolen there by Justin.
Yeah, some good pressure by Zugrug chasing down Justin G, trying to force them out and trying to take mobs on their side of the board. And we do see the top lane turret go down on the Springy Esports side of things. Prismaticism and Justin G just hanging out in their turret. And here comes Indie Bear, here comes Carvenin, and now they're going to be able to pressure on with a 3 versus 2 in their own turret, and they're just putting the heat. Cramorant rolls in. Finally, Mason Blaze says, "Oh, I need to get in that," and we're just seeing Prismaticism go down here as Justin G is on the verge and might get knocked out. They're trying to block, but just to escape, and now it's free reign on that bottom turret to get some of those points in.
Absolutely annihilating the bot lane there. Lucario going to go back base and probably head back up that top lane. They took the Rotom as well on the top lane, so really demolishing here. Huge level advantage, also able to destroy that first goal and really push deeper into the territory of Springy.
Massive level disparities here. Umbra, the Lucario for Springy Esports coming. Look at that big block. And the entire Luv Deez team is on Dreadnought, and they've taken it already. Zugrug with a phenomenal performance in that top lane, stuffing all of Springy Esports backwards, and they're able to take Dreadnought uncontested. No damage taken by Luv Deez, and they're just moving all around the map now. They're going to take all these mobs and see if they can really apply over-the-top pressure by leveling up.
You absolutely love to see that from Zugrug. That's incredible Snorlax play there. You're blocking off 3 members at least, and then you use your ult to just waste even more time, push them far enough away from the objective that they can't even attempt to steal there, as we're about to see the Rotom coming in now, and the fight for top lane begins.
The fight for top lane begins, and it's a heavy slam by Zugrug with another big block into Justin G, who Justin G's on the verge of going down. BBJ can't keep up the heals, barely manages to get that Snorlax out, who's forced to Unite move just to stay alive, and Luv Deez is just pushing them back down their own lane. A block with not much value, maybe just a prayer for his team to get back. Mason Blaze says, "I don't need that block, I'm kicking soccer balls down the pike." And now it's Carvenin, Goof, and Indie Bear sitting in the middle, giving Zugrug some time to heal back up. And I mean, they can apply the pressure where they want. Umbra, the Lucario trying to level in the middle, get chased down by Goof, Carvenin, and Indie Bear. I mean, they're just bullying them all over this map.
Yeah, and they even were able to claim the Rotom there. They actually came out way ahead there because there was a lot of Unite moves being spent there by Springy just before Zapdos, and they may not have time to recharge before that critical maneuver. So the Rotom's going to distract that top lane as they move back their way down bot here and start prepping for that Zapdos. They have the option to go for the Dreadnought as well in preparation, but Zapdos is coming up a few seconds earlier.
You've got about 15 seconds till Zapdos, Joe. What would you like to see out of Springy to make a push here?
Well, they have to contest Zapdos, there's no doubt about that, and potentially even going down towards Dreadnought first to try and close in that gap between the level disadvantage right now, because I do think that Luv Deez overall have that a couple levels above them right now.
Yep, the huge lead has been shown. Justin G trying to jump in with BBJ, the Eldegoss, and they're trying to push her. Zugrug not in any pressure to make a move here, just waiting for their team to go up. They've started Zapdos, which might be a misstep here, as the entire Luv Deez team is in, and they're making a big push backwards, and they'll be able to maybe mitigate the damage here, and it's chaos. Justin G, heavy slam Prismatic goes down. Mason Blaze goes down.
3 KOs already. And Lucario's
BBJ
got their
goes
last.
down.
Yeah.
Everybody's down. It is just Justin G sitting by themselves, trying to take
Yeah.
care of the lone Cramorant Goof GG, but that is to no avail, and the team rolls through 5 deep. Big knockout. zugrug says, I don't even need to touch that. Let's just get those points in. Nope, not even. Just says, I'm going to set up my block here and keep them from getting anywhere, and just a big push to allow his team to get back in the mix. BBJ, the Eldegoss, might as well not even be pressing any buttons right now, and that Snorlax not really doing too much of a difference. But Snorlax using its high HP and its high defense to wait for the turrets to clear and go drop a 1 hundo burger right in the middle.
Clean Snorlax gameplay, holding on to that mid point, so there's no chance that Zapdos can be claimed by anyone but themselves. And he's not even going to mind even getting bullied here. He's going to waste the time from Springy so that they can't get their last few buckets in.
Yeah, you know, a little bit of padding of the stat sheet here. Maybe some KOs flying around that are kind of happening in garbage time here. You see Umbra the Lucario for Springy Esports trying to roll up top and make a difference. But Lutano, the Lucario for Luv Deez, just goes off and picks them off. So, I mean, zugrug, doing exactly what they need to do. Just watching wherever the push is going to be to try and make that last scramble for points and maybe make a difference there. Elects to just pick one just to say they're moving around the map. As we see this timer tick down, we got 10 seconds left, Joe. Let's start talking about what Springy Esports can do to change the tide of this disaster in Game 2.
Yeah, this was really clean play from Luv Deez as we are coming to those final seconds. We have to assume that they were drastically ahead there. I feel like they were ahead before the Zapdos, and as you can see, that lead there was grown upon even more with those last few dunks. But yeah, for Springy, I think their level disadvantage was a big issue there. They actually were favored in that initial Dreadnought, but it felt like it was just stolen by Luv Deez with the Cinderace coming in, getting those last few hits by the looks of things. The Snorlax was sacrificed in that exchange, but it really was worth it because, as you saw, they were able to pounce on that advantage and really keep pressing. And it really meant that Springy couldn't really engage in some 5v5 mosh pit fights because they just had a disadvantage in levels.
Just a couple things I want to point out. A big, I believe it was Lutanio and Carvenin, the Cinderace and Lucario for Luv Deez that were able to just kind of slide in at the end and pick off that first Dreadnought and kind of started the snowball downhill. That second Dreadnought showed up, and that one was all about zugrug. No, did they actually touch the Dreadnought? Absolutely not. But a heavy slam on Umbra the Lucario from Springy Esports trying to come down the lane, and then a block that ate up the rest, the quite literally the rest of the team, all 4 other players. That was just such a potent thing, and that was the 4 seconds that Luv Deez needed to just take that Dreadnought and send Springy Esports scrambling all over the map. I'm very excited to see what Springy Esports does to adjust here in Game 2, because they're going to need a heck of a game plan to overcome the momentum that Luv Deez just built. Game 2 is on the horizon as the composition of both of these teams looks to remain the same here for Game 2 between Luv Deez and Springy Esports.
Yeah, and I don't really think Springy did anything particularly too wrong there. I think they had that slow evolution into that lone Ninetales down bot lane, which really hurt them and their progression in terms of leveling. But I can't really see much else that they need to improve on. Like we said earlier, the Dreadnought was super close and well contested, but looked like Luv Deez were just able to take advantage of that in that first game.
Yeah, and they're just going to push to the middle. We're going to see the same thing here. Challenge that middle Audino, Prismaticism, and Justin G. Same composition the other side. Just trying to do a little pushback effort here as they're going to be fighting over the mobs that are kind of up in the open here and challenge each other, trying to bully each other up and down the lane to try and get ahead of those levels, as you mentioned. But, you know, business as usual here for zugrug and Goof as they take their side's Audino, roll back up to the turret to get a little bit of heals, and maybe go poke around on the other side, see what's going on.
Yeah, I think Springy did that a little bit better in this second game. I think we're going to be seeing a level 4 Alone Ninetales a lot quicker this time around, as we are seeing zugrug just having a little fight off, a bit of zoning there, really. Not too much to say right now, as they're just waiting for a few more mobs to sort of appear.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a quick tackle. They're going to just decimate that core fish and then scramble to the middle to get ready for bees, where I think we can anticipate Prismaticism and Justin G to challenge in the B zone as well. You know, got to at least get some of this experience. Great whirlwind there by the Cramorant Goof to kind of send people scrambling and able to take a good majority of that XP. Prismaticism trying to spread a little bit of hate around as they're just forced to retreat back to their turret. And now the center Audino is back, and Goof and zugrug take it with no problem.
And you can see the same situation happening again here, where Prismaticism just isn't evolved up and really behind on those levels. Justin G might have to feed Alolan Vulpix the score here, but no, Zugrug steals it.
Zugrug with a big steal on the tackle. Typically, you don't get too hype over just beating a mob, but it was 2-on-1 on that mob. Zugrug was just hitting the grass and was able to tackle, get that experience. And now you can see that ball is slowly being tipped down the mountain, and it's starting to pick up speed as both Goof and Zugrug are level 5, and both with the same exact amount of experience to level 6. Zugrug going to chip into this core fish and say, Goof, you want it? No, I'll take it. All right.
It's these small margins as Cinderace is coming down as well, so we are going to see some a bit more push to the bucket here to actually see if we can get some scores. Looks like Cinderace is actually just hanging out because Eldegoss is coming down bot as well.
Yep, BBJ and Justin G on Springy coming in, but here is Carvinen ready to carve up Springy Esports, and that's exactly what they're doing, making Justin G retreat. BBJ trying to get backs in the mix. Mason Blaze rolling in and kicking a couple soccer balls into the mix, but not. No team looking too worse for Wales. They scramble back to their own turret, and I think just buying time for the Bees. And of course, we know the first big inflection point of this match, Dreadnought number 1.
Yeah, looks like 4 for each right now. Both Lucario's at top lane may make up the ground as well and make their way down here as we start to see the Ordinos get cleared up, ready for Dreadnought to come in 5 seconds.
Yeah, something worth mentioning, Indie Bear, the Eldegoss for Luv Deez is also level 6, which normally you see them a little lagging behind in levels, but they're actually over-leveled past the Alolan Ninetales on the other side of the board there. So Justin G and Prismaticism, they're going to have to wait for some backup, and of course, no pressure here on Luv Deez as they want their backup too so they can properly contest this Dreadnought, and they're a little bit above in levels, and they're ready to go. Zugrug hiding in the grass, and we see Goof GG grabbing a mob on the top there. Indie Bear going to hide out with Eldegoss, and I think Carvinen, the Cinderace for Luv Deez, is rolling down as well. Lutano goes back to base, and they're peeling down hard to give some support, and we're going to have an old-fashioned, hopefully 5v5 over this Dreadnought as Mason, Blaze, Prismaticism, and BBJ kick off the action in the middle. Justin G getting caught, though. A big heavy slam, and Justin G goes down. That's a big thing. That's big to contest this Dreadnought, and all of Luv Deez decides, okay, it's time. We go now. We go now. We go now. We've pushed them back. They don't have Snorlax. Prismaticism can't stand up to the pressure here, and now we've got blocked by the Snorlax Zugrug, and just in time as they're going to start raking some points down here with a way to defend. Are we going to roll up top, and is it about Rotom?
Yeah, I think Springy gave up on that Dreadnought pretty quick. As soon as Snorlax went down, I think they sacrificed it. We saw Eldegoss scoring at top lane, and they've actually gone straight for Rotom, to be honest, because they didn't want to contest at that point. They felt the disadvantage pretty heavily, so instead they've just gone for a different objective.
Yep, just decided to push the Rotom down the lane and maybe even giving them an opening to grab bees and try and catch up leveling that way, right? Eat up as many mobs as you can while the other team is trying to deal with Dreadnought and make up the advantage that you get by taking Dreadnought. No action between the teams, and of course I say that a big heavy slaying on Umbra, Justin G, BBJ, and Mason Blaze all over Zugrug. Zugrug with a big block waiting for his team to get there. Goof GG rolls in, Carvinen rolls in, and he makes it out alive on a 4v1.
Zugrug did so well there to make it out and is also able to get that huge berry drop. Of course, Snorlax gets the extra hit points as soon as he does munch on one of those berries with that gluttony ability. And he somehow got out of there nicely. And as you can see right now, they're in a ton of, they have a ton of point advantage. Levels are a lot closer though this time. That Rotom really did help out Springy this game. Yeah,
that was well scouted. You know, peel off, get your experience where you can, and really challenge on a different axis to try and keep up. Totally makes sense. Zugrug going to go back to their own bottom turret as we see a 2v2 breakout between BBJ, Justin G. It's actually a 3v2 now up top. Goof GG stuck up there with Carvinen for Luv Deez. Snorlax goes back but decides to head back down to their bottom lane, and nobody goes down for Luv Deez. They make it out alive.
Yep, they defended well by the looks of things. Maybe a couple of scores in there, but no huge buckets. There was no one full of points because they already did score when the Rotom came on down. So about 10 seconds till Dreadnought now, and it looks like they're assembling down bot lane to try and really claim this again.
Yeah, interesting. I was going to say Zugrug maybe getting a little direction from his squad to head up north, but decides to just grab a quick core fish and come down. Interested to say that they haven't started yet, especially with the performance of Zugrug on the last stemming attempt with that block that they did last time. And it looks like Springy Esports doesn't even want to contest on the Dreadnought. They let it go and they roll up top, but the difference is now all of Luv Deez is there and they don't get a free Rotom.
No, absolutely not. And it looks like Snorlax able to score, go back up top and start contesting now, fighting that Rotom back. And also just with the, again, the level advantage that you gain from Dreadnought is a much bigger and more important objective to take than Rotom is.
Yeah, Springy Esports gets Rotom, pushes it down the lane, and a little bit of a push here by Springy as they really want that Rotom to get in and maybe get some of those free points to take down another turret. But Luv Deez not really concerned, not really challenging. Zugrug going to go back to their lane. Lutano, the Lucario, following in tow. And is that a lone Eldegoss that might get eaten up? No, BBJ intentionally and intelligently makes it back to their own side of the camp and says, I'll fight another day. And Zugrug just going to sit in the grass and see how things develop here. 3-minute mark is just passed.
Yeah, a couple players for Luv Deez are glutted with points. 50 on the Cinderace, 40 on Lucario, who's trying to get some buckets in here right now. That's the only thing you can really do at this point. Try and get your goals in, as we do see Lucario get that. Because with about 45 seconds to go, you can still reload at that point just in time for Zapdos, where it's doubling up.
Absolutely. Zugrug not feeling any pressure. We're not really seeing a lot of Springy Esports on the map, but Justin G just poked around and said, there's too many of them here. I'm going to run back. Indie Bear, Goof, GG, and Zugrug sitting in that bottom turret, which remains intact, completely clean and unscathed. And 22 seconds to Zapdos. That Dreadnought timer just kicked on, but that's not going to be relevant. As all of Springy Esports decides to frame up, Zugrug is a master in the grass, dodging those long-range attacks so they're not identified. Of course, I say that and they get chipped, but that was a key component in the early game to be able to steal some of those mobs. Nobody willing to challenge just yet, as Zapdos has not quite arrived, and the team fight hasn't broken out. Everyone biding their time. Here we go. Zapdos is here, and everybody's in the mist. Mason, Blaze, Prismaticism, BBJ, Umbra, and Big Justin G trying to do their thing. Snorlax pinned in the middle. Zugrug pinned in the middle, but able to use their Unite move. Both Snorlax uses their Unite move to stay alive, and it's just mayhem. All the action moving down to the bottom lane, and nobody has gone down just yet. Umbra, BBJ on the verge. Mason, Blaze trying to push in. Zugrug grabbing a berry and pushing back. Carvin and Goof GG. Goof GG, the squishiest one. You thought they would go down. Big heavy slam on Umbra, on BBJ, and it's mayhem in here. Eldegoss, they've got the widest shoulders on planet Earth. They're keeping everybody up. And finally, Lutano for Luv Deez goes down, and the race is bad. They're saying that's the gap we needed. They raced to Zapdos, and it's been started, but the action has not stopped. Prismaticism, BBJ pushing Mason, Blaze, and a big block by Justin G, and a counter block by Zugrug to keep Prismaticism, all three of them out and pushing them in the grass. Finally, Zugrug goes down, but that was a big effort and a great effort in that stall. As Cramorant is able to come back, the Eldegoss, Indie Bear is going to be coming back. There's two people down on the side of Springy Esports, and I'm out of breath.
Looking like Zapdos, it may not even be claimed here. I think they're just trying to deal with the mob in front of them, as Luv Deez are getting their Pokemon back just in time, really, to keep contesting, keep the fight open so that Zapdos isn't just free and available here. So they are still defending very well, and they may not have time to Zapdos at this point. There's only 30 seconds remaining.
30 seconds remaining. A great job. I'm going to pin that on the shoulders of both Zugrug and Indie Bear, who were able to alternate when they were getting KO'd, and one supporting while the other one was gone. As soon as Zugrug came down, Indie Bear was back in the mix, healing, buying enough time for Zugrug to get back, and now BBJ just going to get heavy. That's a big butt landing on a tiny piece of cotton. I'll tell you what, Joe, that did not look healthy. Lutano is going to try and grab a KO before this timer runs out. Pump those stats a little bit as we see how these points shake out. Zapdos not claimed. 163 Luv Deez. 110 for Springy Esports. Woo-wee!
That was a really low-scoring game, but Luv Deez was content. They knew that they were ahead, and they were on a defensive stance for a long time, spending a lot of time in the grass, not even looking to farm, just looking to take areas of the map so that they're engaged. They're able to go to Dreadnought and react. They're able to go to Zapdos and react to Springy, because they knew, again, they were ahead. They don't need to be the ones pressing. They just need to have that Pokemon advantage when it's 5-on-5. Even when you are getting knocked out, there's never a good time to get KO'd, but they were spread out easily enough by who was engaging, who was coming back, who was gobbling up the berries, that there was always a good presence there to contest the Zapdos at the end.
Yeah, well said, Joe. Nothing flashy there. There was no crazy Zapdos moments, no crazy scrambles to the turret at the end. Just clean, concise team battling on the side of Luv Deez, able to stave off that final push by Springy Esports, not let them back in the game through the way of a cheeky Zapdos at the end. And Luv Deez punches their tickets to the finals, where they will meet the End, who had a very impressive semifinals match in the back end of game 2 and 3, scrubbing out their opponent with no points scored whatsoever. So I'm really interested to see how these two powerhouse teams square up, sit tight. Finals are just ahead. Luv Deez, the end. We'll see you soon.